The church basically relies on three different kinds of weapons. The first of these are purely spiritual weapons. And these are excommunications and interdicts. And it turns out those actually don't work so well. So, the record holder is the Holy Roman Emperor Henry IV, who gets excommunicated 5 times by 3 different popes. But it doesn't prevent him from basically governing for decades and, being an incredibly successful emperor. So the popes very quickly find out that excommunications or placing an entire community under interdict simply isn't very effective. So they turn to basically sort of classic secular weapons. They very rarely lead armies themselves. When they do, it almost inevitably ends in disaster in the medieval period. But what they do instead is to build all kinds of alliances and coalitions. And they basically fund wars by proxy, and they fund the depositions of rulers by allied secular, kings and princes. So in effect, they basically act as funders and puppet masters for a whole bunch of rulers who are already vying for power with the Holy Roman Empire or with France or with whatever region the Pope seems to favor at the time. And the third set of weapons that work quite well are political crusades. So we think of a crusade as this expedition to the far off east, as a way of regaining Jerusalem and bringing back, Edessa under the fold. But in fact, the modal crusade is a political one, and it's launched against a ruler within Europe that the Pope finds to be disloyal or wayward or somehow, not loyal enough to the Pope. And so these are these three kinds of weapons, the spiritual ones that don't work so well, the coalitions and alliances that work very well, and the papal crusades. And I'm actually collecting a huge data set right now of all the crusades and the role that the popes, the roles that the popes played in basically overturning rulers through the crusades.